What do you feel like as a dad has been her biggest breakthrough or program for the last 3 months?
Just her confidence is really improved. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't been able to go to the games because of all my back problems.
Hmm.
Um, just overall, her confidence. 2 weeks ago, she picked up with the Mojo team that she wound up joining, and did well. Confident. I mean, even she only pitched what two innings or so.
Three.
She pitched, but more comfortable. I mean, I was there for some of it, and oh my gosh, her changeup was like on to the point where the other parents were commenting about it. I mean, she had one where she threw the changeup, and I think it just about hit the end of the girl's bat. She because she was so late on it when the ball came
Yeah.
in,
Early.
or yeah, well,
Yeah. No, I got you. You're good.
but I mean, it was like literally, it was almost like somebody was playing pool, like a pool cue. The way the ball hit the end of the bat, it was fun to watch. But her confidence in the field. She played second base for that team. And Charles had said he was only going to use the pickup players for a little bit here and there. And
Hmm.
she played most of those games, and
But 2 innings.
but she played a lot of second base, but she played it at a level where she was able to handle playing against 16 and 18U girls at 14. So it just tells me that she's confident, she's not intimidated, and I think even her, and granted this is not your stuff, but the batting, the faster it comes in, the better she does, and that's
Good.
Quinny's been working with that. So we've been excited to want this to continue, but
That's good to hear.
all in all, I've been happy. You've been a very positive influence on her from what we've been seeing, and she's nodding, and she's happier out there.
Good. Tegan, what do you feel like you've improved on in being in the program for the last 3 months?
Probably like leg drive. My knee still, yes, hurts, but it doesn't hurt to the degree that it used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the leg drive thing. I feel like it's been a lot easier to do because last time, like when I was like with my last coach, it was get as far as you can off the mound, and I feel like that made my knee hurt more.
Yeah, for sure. So you feel like you're driving off the mound more within your power. I like that. What else do you think you've improved on?
Probably getting my change up more like lower because I was missing high almost every single pitch. It felt like with change ups. So now I'm finally getting it lower and in the zone.
I like that. Would you say your confidence has improved?
Yeah.
That's good. How do you think your confidence has improved? Like, what makes working in my program different than working with other coaches? Because I'm not your first pitching coach.
It's just like you cheer on every little like accomplishment.
Yeah, celebrate the small wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. And how do you feel about the hybrid training?
Sometimes it's nice to have like a one-on-one lesson. Sometimes it's nice to do it in like a group. And you also get to have people in like different situations. So it's like some people have like a really good team, and it's like just like Mila, I think. She just started club, so it's always nice to have like someone who hasn't been doing something as long. You get to help them with that. They get to help you kind of bring down the pressure level. Ellie, she kind of like brings up like everything like with the pressure too. So it's like we all kind of like add to each other that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And the small group training, I mean, that's something that I really try to hang on to because there's so many things that take place in those 60 minutes that organically happen. Like you being in a position where you're able to speak into another pitcher, right? They always say those that can teach it actually learn it better. Okay. But then you're also in a situation where you're pitching alongside Ellie, and Ellie is competitive. Like that girl just, the way she walks, she competes, like, out of the gate, like this girl's going to go toe to toe with whoever steps to her.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a compliment to be in a small group where, iron sharpens iron, and you're pitching against somebody, but at the same time, you're also getting the support. And then you're able to turn around and speak into someone younger than you, kind of like how you would speak to your younger self.
Yeah.
So
What I've
that's
seen
huge.
what I've seen with Tegan is when she has the ability, or anybody, if you have the ability to teach something that you're comfortable with, um, it just helps you master that skill a little bit better. So if you're able to explain it and teach it to somebody who maybe is younger than you, that's what's reinforcing your knowledge. And I think that she's pretty good at that.
Yep. Yeah. Like one of the moments, in fact, this week where you were talking about the change up flip, like all of a sudden I was like, yeah, this is huge because if you're not flipping it in a way where you can catch it with your flip hand, you're flipping it late. And it was like all of a sudden, all three of you like caught that and you were sitting there flipping on time, on time, on time. And it was like, there it is. You all three had like an aha moment all at once. So that was huge. Um, would you say your knowledge as a pitcher has increased?
Yeah, like this week with the drop ball, it was always just follow up and just try to get as many rotations. It's not like peel up and then go back down and like get the drop easier.
Yep. I mean, to me, it just makes sense. You know, if you think about a rise ball, your follow through on that rise ball is typically up, and you want to pull your thumb more to your left side as a right-handed pitcher because it keeps the ball from running. Because if by chance you do this, you're going to get what kind of pitch?
A screwball or like a
A
rise.
scries. But we want to be in a position as a pitcher where we can throw a rise ball on command, we can throw a screwball on command, and if we want to mix it, we can throw a scries. We don't want to just, oops, it worked to my advantage, but that was a scries. You know, I love it.
So you want to be deliberate about what you're doing as opposed to like, oops, that was a great mistake.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Yep. You want the intention. And it's really important to be able to decipher that because there are going to be moments where you're going to have batters who are going to see through your screwball. They're going to see through your rise ball, and then you're going to come at them with a scries and they're going to be like, whoa. Right. So you want to have that arsenal. So good. Would you recommend me, Tegan, as a pitching coach? I love that. Why would you recommend me?
As a parent, I would recommend you too as a pitching coach.
That was my next question to you, Steve.
Okay, so I jumped.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Go ahead, Tegan.
It's just, I feel like like at the beginning it was like wouldn't celebrate like anything really. Now I celebrate like every little thing.
Yeah, because if you're not celebrating your little moments of success into your big successful moment, that big successful moment doesn't feel the way it's supposed to feel. You almost like dread the next one, right? But you're celebrating all along the way, and then boom, you have that moment. And you're like, this is why this, and this had to happen in order for this one thing to happen. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Now, Steve, what were you saying?
I would absolutely recommend you to, other people. And when we start talking about, who Tegan's working with, there's definitely a recognition with your name around the softball community. And, if any other families were saying, hey, who's Tegan working with? Who's a good pitching coach? You would be there, just like people looking for hitting. If we get onto these different softball groups, I've seen a few people looking for hitting coaches, and I just always throw up Quinney's, Alan Quinney's facility or his webpage. I've been very happy with your guys' ability to connect with her. And we've been fortunate because we've been around some other ones. Whether it be, we've had one other pitching coach, we've had about three different batting coaches over the years. And, we connected really well with Quinney. We had a former retired MLB player that we really liked for hitting, but we couldn't afford that. And then we started really realizing that there's a big difference between a baseball mentality and a softball mentality of hitting. So, but we've been very happy, like I absolutely would refer you and to other people.
I love that. I love that very much. You know, for me as a pitching coach, I can teach you how to throw the pitches you need to throw. But to me, that's a transaction. What I want you to get the most out of any type of training scenario with me is a transformation. not just how to X, Y, and Z, but why. And if you do feel like something's gotten better, you know exactly why it's gotten better.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking I just like sprinkled pitching fairy dust on you. You know what I mean? Like you did that. I just gave you the tools. You built your house. You know, it was funny, Steve. The other night, she said, well, she referred to her old pitching coach. And I kind of let it go. And I went back up to her and I said, man, I thought we were out of that because I'm a pitching coach now.
Yeah.
And she started laughing. And I was like, I love making you smile. But it was cute because I could see the connection that she has made over the last 3 months with me, the trust that she's allowed herself to grow with me, to where if I would have said that when I did say it 3 months ago, you were kind of apprehensive. Like,
Yeah, I think three months ago, there's probably a little bit of a wall there. And
yeah,
it was just because Tegan has always been, all right, well, if we're working with a team, for example, and if the scenario was she was working when you were there at Mojo trying to say, hey, well, you may want to try this with this pitch or think about your, whatever hand position or
mm-hmm.
the way you're going to finish the pitch. There was definitely like that allegiance. Well, no, that's the way to me. So I'm not interested in about it. And now, obviously, that's gone. But I'm curious if it's going to be if there was somebody else at one of the games or one of her practices saying, no, here, this is the way you do it. And Tegan's gonna be like, no, Kally told me to do it this way. And so sometimes it becomes hard because you definitely have that allegiance to your pitching coach. You don't want to recreate stuff, but you have a lot of people that have opinions or maybe they have knowledge, maybe they don't, but I'm sure she's going to see it through her high school career and
Mm-hmm.
her college career too, that everybody's going to have input. And if you're working with a pitching coach, what are they doing that might be counterproductive as opposed to really productive?
Well, and my goal with that is to get her, instead of relying on what I say, is to get her to build what works for her. Because then she can walk into a situation more open-minded. I always use the story of Monica Abbott's changeup. She was taught every changeup, every coach put their opinion on her, and she finally decided enough is enough. She was probably a little bit younger than you. I think she was about 12. And she said, I'm going to create my own grip. And I know what a changeup's supposed to do. And she was able to get the changeup to do what it's supposed to do. And she had an unorthodox grip. Those are the things that softball for me is a pure vehicle to teaching you how to not be a yes girl, but to be a figure outer. Right? Because at the end of the day, me being a parent, like I do use that to almost like a partnership with coaching is like, I think of you when you go off to college and let's say you get a flat tire, you're going to know how to change a flat tire. So when some dude pulls up on you, your dad will have raised you right? You'll probably be carrying by then, but you're not going to look distressed. You're not going to look like a victim. You're going to look like a woman who knows how to change her tire. So therefore, that person's going to drive right by. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So there's an amount of confidence that I want you to take away from training with me to where people don't feel like they need to put their opinion on you. And then the one time they do it, they're going to do it in such a way to come around you and not hurt you or put anything down that you're doing. That's when you know that's a good coach.
It's not just about softball.
Do what?
It's not just about softball. This is about life.
This is about life. It's about presence on the field. You want to have a presence about you, not just when you walk on the field, but when you're out and about in life. Because this is such a good blueprint.
So we refer to that in my former field as command presence. And I think that when you go out on that field and you're dressed for the part and you're ready to go and you're confident, that all adds to it. And I think that's with anybody, and you could probably relate to that even in your pitching career. And you probably see it with some of the ladies that you're working with, where that confidence needs to be there. And command presence is what we're talking, the way we looked at it.
All the time, for sure. Like once you cross the chalk line, like whatever happened to you in that day doesn't go to you, doesn't go on the field with you. And it's crazy, Tegan, because I feel like sometimes I'm the first person to say that to some girls, because they will try to take the burden of what happened 30 minutes ago and try to pitch with that. But when you walk out on the mound carrying that, you literally look like you're carrying something. So if you can actually know that, hey, I have permission to take this off my back and get out here and attack, because that's going to be here waiting for me. It is what it is. But right now, this moment to own on the mound, that's few and far in between, because that might be your last game. Right? So
That's a great way of looking at things.
Do what?
That's a great way of looking at things.
Yeah, I mean, it's, call it compartmentalizing, whatever you want to call it. I feel like there's a healthy way of just shelving stuff for a moment. Because you can't, I mean, Steve, you're former law enforcement. You were probably trained highly on, you can't let your personal life come into your professional life.
Correct. You can't.
And for Tegan, this is her professional right now.
Yeah. And also you can't let the last incident that you were dealing with affect your current incident, or what happened yesterday at work affect it. So, if you had a rough game on game 1 of Saturday's tournament and you're asked to pitch part of game 3 on Saturday, or asked to pitch part of, something on Sunday, you got to leave that behind you. And you also can't worry about what the previous pitcher did. I mean, you might have to worry or know that, all right, if they left a couple of runners on base and you're coming in relief, all right, that's something I got to pay attention to. But that's not what you did. What you're dealing is what the batter is, and obviously maybe to try to keep those runners honest and keep them where they should be. But everything else is not your thing to worry about.
Yep, your job is your craft right now. Enjoy it. I love it. So, well, it sounds good. I'm glad to have a seat in your journey, to watch you grow, for you to come into this with a grain of apprehension, which is normal. You decided to buy in to what was happening. And I think in that process, you gained more confidence. We know this, but you were able to start to really see what you wanted as a pitcher, instead of, well, I'm not good enough because I'm not getting X, Y, and Z. That's a lot to carry. And now you're in a position where in the last 2 to 3 weeks, you made some very heavy decisions. And like I said, like, you're in high school now. Like, we've got to start making our bed and sleeping in it. And we've got to start having tough conversations. Just like you guys are looking for coaches to play under. Like I told your mom, you're literally hiring them to. Remember, you have the power in that. There's nothing wrong with that type of mind space. So
yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be a part of it. I know it's today's world, that seems like a cliche, but I really don't think, Steve and Tegan, I could do this if I didn't believe in God. Like, there's just no way that some of the things that come out of my mouth, I'm just like, thank you, Jesus. Because if I would have relied on myself to say something, it probably would have came out totally backwards. God, Jesus just spoke through me, because I do, there are moments, Tegan, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be human, where I do want to be that person that like completely like calls up a coach and is like, what are you doing? Like, you're literally crushing this kid. It's not going to help.
I almost did that to my best friend's coach, so.
You get it.
I'm standing up for her.
Thank you.
And
you're welcome.
Like her and I had a conversation, like I told you, where, if they're going to decide to put you in cold, just treat it as I'm throwing warm-ups. And if there's meatballs over the plate, the only thing I would say at the beginning is, Coach, you're putting me in cold. I didn't have a chance to warm up. So this is going to be my warm-up. Yeah.
And it was a test. I looked at him and I said, that was not a test. That is the stupidest thing to say. Like, you
Yeah.
don't test a kid's physical capability and keep your fingers crossed that they don't get injured.
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to test mental strength, that's not a way to test mental strength.
No, that's all physical. I'm like, your test is we're going to warm up 3 pitchers. I'm going to start this one. I'm going to put this one in. I might get to you. You may not be guaranteed to go in. And then you have the mindset of, I'm third string this game. But all of a sudden, the first pitcher can't cut it. The second pitcher just started vomiting. Guess who gets called up? You. There's the test.
Fourth string pitcher.
But you get it, right? That's the test. It's being able to accept the fact that maybe you're not in the position where you think you should be. But at the end of the day, you're in the position to best serve your team past that. Okay. If you get caught up on where you want to be, that's called me ball. Okay. If you can look at it like, okay, I'm gonna be in a position to support my team, do what I need to do. You know, in the meantime, I'm gonna be playing second or I'm gonna be in the lineup. I gotta own that job right there. And then, like I said, chaos, pure chaos breaks out, and then they come to you and they're like, we need you on the mound now.
Yeah, that's much different than what we had. But yeah, but we appreciate you all you're doing. And you know, so my question for you is, where do you see the next 3 months going? And do you see, you know, do you see, obviously, you want to continue working with Tegan?
Yeah, I do. I feel like, you know, at the beginning, it was that apprehension. I was feeling that a lot. I was also feeling a lot of almost like coddling her from you guys. And I wanted to be in your life as a person who was another person that was for her and not against her. And that's why I was like, you know, when you first came up with like the phone overheating and it's too hot, and I just was like, no, she can do this. And I had to remember, like, as a parent, we don't want our kids to go through tough, like anything tough. But as a coach, I know that way too many kids right now are going to the college level, never knowing what it's like to fail. And these college coaches are having to like reprogram them because the parents are so involved, like wanting to move to where they play college ball. And I get it, people do that in the past. But when you left it, you put your 10 cents in, Steve, and you left it and you didn't keep pushing that, I was like, he's trusting me.
Well, I left it, you know, I think my wife was dealing with some of the stuff with the phone getting too hot and things like that. And so back, you know, the end of March, I had back surgery. So
Yep.
I had to step back and take a backseat role. And I don't think it was too much coddling. It was just, you know, hey, you need to get out there and you need to do. And at the beginning,
But
I saw nervousness and apprehension because of
yeah,
change.
and she's already been through enough.
Yeah.
So I also had to look through that lens too. So this is why, like, I can't work with everybody because I don't want to work with everybody. But I had to give you a chance because if I would have said, you know what, this is way too much, like you're complaining about everything, it's too hard for her, da da da. I would have been a complete jerk. And
Yeah.
my mom's always told me, you're too kind, and kind people are not mean. And I just don't, it doesn't look good on me, right? So I sat back and I just watched her go into a moment where she realized you had to step back, like you said, because of your back surgery. And I watched her step up and take ownership. And I was like, I think we're onto something here. And that's like, okay, I knew I would probably say within the first 2 weeks when she had the little ice pack thing with the charger on the back of her phone. She was doing the drills. I knew right away. I was like, yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah.
It's happening. So Tegan, I commend you for that. Steve, I know it wasn't ideal for you because it was an uncontrollable, but you raised a good kid. She figured it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We try.
So yeah, so I would love to work with you for, you know, 3 more month duration, and whatever happens after that. But you know, it's just like I always tell my girls, it's going to get harder. You're going to be challenged more, but this time you're going into that challenge with a different lens. You don't have to carry your baggage of other coaches' opinions on you. you can leave that at the gate every single time. I'm looking forward to continuing this journey for you. And again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to ride shotgun with you as you're doing this thing called softball/life. It's not supposed to be easy, but you're supposed to find the good things in it.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, yeah, of course.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
Sounds
See ya.
good. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.